You're tuning in to the Black Hollywood Live Network, featuring news, interviews, and commentary on all things Black Hollywood. Hollywood redefined. From Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is Black Hollywood Live. Next, featuring intimate and in-depth interviews with Black Hollywood's next edition of stars and influencers. Black Hollywood Live. Hollywood redefined.
You're listening to Black Hollywood Live.
And now, the host for Black Hollywood Live, next.
Welcome to Black Hollywood Live. I am your host, Ebony K. William, along with my three amazing co-hosts, starting with Jason Carter. We got Miss Jessica King.
Hello.
And Mr. Nick Perdue.
What up?
So today, our guest is one of Hollywood's best-kept secrets. Her unique life experiences and raw talent are just some of the reasons why she's lighting up the big and small screens. Welcome, Toks Olagundoye. No.
That was pretty
right.
good. It was good. We'll just leave it.
We'll leave it. So that's our first question, right? I know that people butcher your name horribly like I just did. What's the worst that you've heard other than what I just did?
People when they spell it sometimes like to do O''Lagundoyle
Oh.
and turn it into an Irish name.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah,
So can you say it for us perfectly?
perfectly probably not, but it's Toks Olagundoye.
Olagundoye.
Yeah.
Got it. Awesome.
Yeah.
But we're gonna call you like Nene. We'll give you a nickname for
Okay.
today.
I
Just
feel
kidding.
Nene. Yeah, you could call me whatever you want.
Just don't call you late for dinner, huh?
Well, you know what happens.
That's funny.
Oh my goodness, you guys. Amazing.
Issues,
Amazing.
issues.
Now, so your dad was born and raised in Nigeria, right? And your mother was born and raised in Norway.
Yes.
So how did they meet?
Okay, so my mum was actually born in Massachusetts, raised in Norway. It
Gotcha.
gets
There you go.
so
Okay.
complicated. And my grandmother is Norwegian. My grandfather is from Massachusetts.
Okay.
They came to the Americas all the way back on the second boat, I think, after the Mayflower from Ireland or something. And yeah, she didn't grow up with them. She grew up with her family in Norway. And when she was 17, she decided she wanted to move to the US and study fashion. And she had this crazy kooky cousin who she lived with, who was under the impression that she was a black woman because she was half Italian. And she
Because that's
had
kind of the same thing, right?
totally the same. And she had actually lived in Nigeria she went and worked on a cocoa farm in like the mid 60s and got deported for having malaria. And she had a Nigerian boyfriend, and his best friend was my dad. They were at MIT together. And my dad used to go over and hang out at her place where my mum was living with her, because he was so in love with my mum. My mum's really, really beautiful. So
I mean,
took one.
Obviously.
I mean, yes, and yes, here you are.
Man, hello. No, but my mum is like Nicolette Sheridan-ish, kind of like.
Nice.
Yeah, she's a pretty lady. So yeah.
Well, your parents got married only a couple years after it was legal to have an interracial relationship.
Correct.
So how did you grow up looking at race? How were you taught to look at race?
You know, I grew up in Nigeria. I was born and raised in Nigeria, so I didn't. I just, I went to an international school. One parent was white, one parent was black. I was teased a bit because in Nigeria, if you're half anything else, you're that.
Right.
So I was teased for being white. So they have this song which is Oibo Pepe, Liki Liki Pepe, which is like white pepper instead of black pepper. So I was teased about it, but it wasn't like malicious, you know. And we lived in England when I was 3 and 4, but I don't know that I remember much about it. It was never really an issue when I was growing up, so I didn't really notice much. I didn't really notice much when I moved to England either for school, because most of the tension really was between like Middle Easterners and like Indians, Pakistanis, and whites. Like the blacks are kind of just like hanging out, And so then, and then I moved here, and then I started seeing like, that there was some
Tensions, maybe, issues.
tension. Yeah. Like there's tension is a good word, and just some people tend to just stay to themselves, and that's fine.
Yes.
That's what you're more comfortable with. But I had a bit of a problem with that because I was just kind of used to hanging out with whoever I got along with. So that was a bit difficult for me. I actually was supposed to go to Brown University. That was my first choice, and I decided not to because at the time the black students wanted their own housing, and I was like, well, am I going to live in a little cabin in the middle? So I went to Smith instead. But yeah, I mean, I never really, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. You know, I suppose depending on what I'm doing, it's a good thing or a bad thing. But I've never really, not never. We've lived here for almost 20 years, so of course, but it's not a part of my upbringing, really.
Well, just touching on, since we're talking about your upbringing and racial and biracial and things of that nature, my sister's biracial, and I always ask her, like, who do you identify with more? Do you see yourself as an African American woman, or do you say I'm biracial? I'm like, how do you describe your being, your essence to people who ask that question?
I'm Nigerian.
Yeah.
That's how I see myself. I
Sure.
don't see
So it's a
myself.
nationality identity.
Yeah, I see myself
Got
as
it.
Nigerian, but if you're going to ask me what I am, I'm a black woman. I
There you
mean,
go.
like, there's no, hi, you know, I mean, like, I'm a black woman, you know, I've got
Right.
my kinky hair and my brown eyes, and I like them more that way, thank you very much, you know, and it's, you know, I was not raised I was lucky to not be raised in a place where that was ever an issue for anyone. No one was ever concerned about what their skin color was or what their hair was or any of that, you know, and I have this fabulous mother who just sort of, my mum's a fashion designer and she runs her own business, and she just sort of got ready in the morning and always looked fabulous, and that was that.
That was
You know,
that,
there
all
was,
she wrote.
yeah, there was no, do I look okay? Do you think your father would like this? It was just like, no, this is perfect, let's go. And so, you know what I mean? So
love
I
that,
never really
yeah.
grew up with any issues of that kind, you know? And yeah, I don't know. It's an odd thing when you come from somewhere else and then you come here and you see it. It's so different, you know? It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, you mentioned that your parents both went to MIT together.
My dad went to MIT.
Your dad went to MIT.
Yes.
So, but your mom and your dad both lived in Massachusetts.
They did.
For a while. So, what was the catalyst decision that made your parents decide to raise you in Nigeria?
It was my mum, actually. My mum decided that she did not want to raise a biracial child in the United States. It was 1975, and she was not having it. They had a lot of trouble as a couple here at that time. And they never let it bother them. I mean, if you can really get under my parents' skin, you're insane, because my mum is really, she really just, you know, brushes things off, and so does my dad. They're very calm people, they're very level-headed, they're very live and let live, and, like, you know, give people as many chances as they need until they disown them. And it's, you know, it's, so she just thought that was the best idea. She said, I want her to be raised in a place where everyone looks like her and it's not an issue. You know?
I'm slowly but surely becoming a super fan of your mom.
That's
Because,
amazing.
you know, well, we found out that when
Yes.
you were born in a hospital with no electricity and no doctors. So who the hell delivered you? Your mom was like, "Her, let me do it."
Yeah, she's just like, I got this. It was just like a nurse, you know. My mum's doctor was on vacation or something, I don't know, and her water broke. My dad got her to the hospital. They asked her if she wanted breakfast, which I suppose you're not supposed to do when you're in labor, and so my mum was sitting on a gurney eating scrambled eggs, and someone ran over and was like, no eating. She was like, no, okay. And they took her upstairs and they put her on literally just like a metal table. There are no stirrups or anything fancy like that. Nothing to be hooked up to. And it's just her and a midwife. And you know, she grabbed her ankles and she pushed.
And there you are.
Yeah, and my mum's pretty amazing. Like, she's never really said what happened between getting to the hospital and meeting the midwife and me coming out. Like, I don't know how long it took. I don't know if it was painful or not.
No.
She never got into that. She was just like, hey, you got stuck. You didn't want to come out.
That's the story. Secretly, you're from Krypton.
Yeah,
you're an
exactly.
alien. You're not really here.
Absolutely. I think my mum is an alien, actually. True story. But yeah, she's like, you wouldn't come out. And so she just said, all right, the next contraction, tell me. And I told her, and she pushed on me, and I had this big horseshoe bruise. There you were. And I put my jeans on the next day. Done. I was like,
She is fabulous. Start
Everyone
to
hates you.
finish.
Makes it
Yeah.
sound awesome.
yeah, she's
Yes.
just, you know, yeah, she's lovely.
That's awesome. So we talked about you growing up in Nigeria, and as a Black American, you know, African culture, Nigerian culture, it's very different. So how do you distinguish, like, Black Americans from Blacks in Africa, and what that might be like, and Blacks in Nigeria particularly?
I don't know. I would have to say, even within Africa,
Yes.
my people are incredibly confident. We tend to like ourselves an awful lot.
Yeah.
Got it.
We are not easily dissuaded. We are very stubborn. So I think that just in general, when it comes to human beings in general, that distinguishes us. I mean, we like ourselves a lot. You know, I mean, not in a bad way, but we
Yeah.
just don't really let anything deter us. And we try to look on the bright side of everything and like just kind of like eye on the prize. And nothing ever seems to stop us. You know, it's like, you know, when people are like I get asked a lot, you know, as a black woman in this industry, has it been difficult? And I mean, I don't think it's been any more difficult for me than it has for anybody else of any race. It's a difficult industry to get into, you know.
Certainly.
Simply, it might just be my attitude. Maybe I've forgotten about the things that happened, or maybe I just didn't notice them. But for me, it's just kind of like keep going, keep pushing. Things aren't easy. If you want something, you just try everything you can until you get it. And that's kind of how we are.
As Nigerians.
Yes, but also there's a lot of fraud. But that's not,
I know what you're talking about. I got those emails.
Yeah, that's
yes,
not.
Toks. Yeah.
I have one dodgy cousin. One dodgy cousin.
Right.
They might be from him, but no one else in my family.
I
Yeah,
actually
it's,
read those emails and think like, they picked me. That's so cool.
I want you to
Here's
stop that,
$100. Here's
Jason. Right.
Here's my account and my social.
He just
How
wants
about
to
it?
know my account number. He's got $1 million for
Change
me.
it.
Exactly.
Right.
They got a lot of money over there.
And they're always in like import and exports.
Of course.
Always.
Yeah, and there's some explanation that by the end of
Yeah.
it, you're like, I don't know what that means, but it sounds
It's
really,
really good.
That's funny.
Now, speaking of which, you've lived all over the place. So
Yeah.
L.A., New York, Switzerland, Massachusetts, and Nigeria. So, you know, and I know in a recent interview that you said that you felt like a foreigner kind of any place you are.
Yeah.
So where do you call home?
Oh, it depends on the context, actually. Home is Nigeria.
Okay.
It always will be. But I've got 3 different homes here because when I started going to school in Massachusetts, because we had family there, and I didn't know them until right before I went to university. So my mum got a house in Massachusetts. So we have a house there. So when I was in university, that was home. And then I moved to New York, which became home. But then I would go home to see my mum in Massachusetts, and then we'd go home to Nigeria.
Wow.
And now LA is like work home, but I'll be like, yeah, I'm going home to New York because I still have a place in New York. I've got homes everywhere.
I mean, you're just a jet-setting diva.
Yes.
Well, I don't know. You should see me after I've traveled. There's nothing diva about me when I'm.
I don't
you know,
believe that. Well, you know, you say your parents still live in Nigeria. Do you get a chance to see them often?
Yes, I do. My dad has a place in New York. My mum has a place in Massachusetts. So when they're here, I try to be there, or they come and visit me here. I have not been home,
Right.
though, for 6 years.
Oh, wow.
Girl, you better get a ticket.
So here's the thing about that. Before, I couldn't go just because, you know, in this business, you leave for a week and you
Right.
can
And
miss
you're out of the
something.
loop. Yeah.
For sure.
You know, and so it takes a couple weeks to go see the 700 people in your family, most of whom you don't recognize, and come back. And so I didn't. And now they are kidnapping people like it's going out of style.
Wow.
And
It's just not
Yeah, so it's not
safe,
safe
to go right now.
Not really good.
Do they get to watch you on TV?
yes.
And how do they
yes,
react?
Yes, we're on a South African channel called Mnet, and that gets broadcast in Nigeria, and people are losing their minds. over
Good.
it.
Well, they
It's
should.
fantastic. Yeah, I'm loving it because people are very proud. I'm getting a lot of support from my fellow men.
So you're a local celebrity in Nigeria?
No, we have the second largest film industry in the
Wow.
world.
It's amazing.
Second to Bollywood. Ours is called Nollywood. So original. And we have, we crank stuff out. So there is a plethora of actors and actresses. And it's big business, like
Yeah.
the tabloids and all that stuff. So for me, they're kind of like, she's not here. She's,
Right.
so, yeah.
Well, a
Also,
hometown girl. Yeah.
well, and also my name, usually if you have my name, it means you weren't born in Nigeria.
Oh, wow.
Because Tokumbo means that you were born outside of the country.
Right.
I was not.
So yeah.
Right. But you were-
My parents. My father decided that because I started outside of the country and I was birthed by
Oh, I
a
get it.
foreigner,
Right.
that I should be named Toks, which means wealth from across the seas. So, but it's when you're born, abroad. But I wasn't. I was born by abroad, but not abroad. And I just, I get a lot of,
So he's really going on like the conception, like you were.
Yeah,
got
that's
it.
what he's doing. But then I
Okay.
meet Nigerians and they're like, "Hey, you're not Nigerian now. Your name's Tokumbo." And I'm like, "Nah, I have to go through the whole thing, preferably in broken English so they know I'm really authentic."
That's
And
fun.
then, yeah.
There you have it. So you talked about going to Smith and amazing school, great pedigree, but you were originally a pre-law major.
I was.
And but you did have some high school theater.
Mm-hmm.
What was that like your freshman year when you decided, you know what, I'm actually just going to ditch the law stuff and I'm going to go for my passion?
Yeah, I never really wanted to be a lawyer. I had this grand plan, and it was going to be.
Ooh, let's hear it.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was, I'm going to do pre-law, then I'm going to join the Navy. I'm going to be the first female Navy SEAL.
Okay.
Then I'm going to join the FBI. I don't know.
Go for it,
And
girl.
then I'm
You
going to be an
go.
ADA, and I'm going to end up being a DA, and then preferably a judge. I don't know what I was
Ambitious.
thinking.
Dream big.
By
Amazing.
like 28, like I'm going to get it done. And then first year you can't pre-register, so I had to
Right.
register for a course, and I wanted to take one theatre course, and so I went early to make sure I could get in, and it happened to be adjacent to the theatre, and I walked out on the stage, and I looked out in the auditorium, and I started crying.
Oh, you had that moment.
She
I
had that
did.
moment,
I
yeah.
had that moment, and in the moment, I was like, "You're an idiot. You're gonna be poor forever. Oh
Well,
my
can-
God!"
Can you replay that moment for us right now? Like the look on your face. Like how did it all unfold?
It was probably something like,
The quivering eyebrow.
"Wait for it."
Yes.
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 Okay.
There you go.
Yes.
Hashtag Emmy.
Yeah.
Hat typing.
Yeah.
No, that's amazing. So, but your parents, your mom, I feel like we know her, literally.
Yeah.
Yes,
And-
Christine.
Yes, Christine. I feel like she would have been really excited for you
Yes.
for this.
Yeah.
Was that the
She
response
was.
for them?
Yeah.
Awesome.
My dad, I didn't know. My dad has a master's in business and a master's in engineering. He went
wow.
to Harvard, Yale, MIT, and Case, and was the CEO of a bank for like most of my life.
Yes. Oh my
And so
gosh.
I did not think that he was going to take kindly to me wanting to be an actor. And he said, "Yeah, that's fine." I said, "What? Come again? I've got the wrong numbers." I said, "What?" And he said, "I wanted to teach French, and at Yale or move to Paris and be, a musician, and I couldn't. So you should do what you want to do. Just do it well." And then he called me back 2 days later and said, "Would you like to go to the Cannes Film Festival? Because we've been invited." And I said, "How?" And yes. And he said, "Oh, we're invited every year by Uncle Harry." I said, "Why is
Wow.
Uncle Harry going to Cannes?"
That's amazing.
Yeah, it just so we went to Cannes.
Yeah.
And that was,
That's an amazing story, Toks, because it speaks to kind of like in our community generational progress. Like your father wasn't able to do what he wanted to do so that he could afford you the
Yeah.
privilege of doing what you want to do. That's a beautiful
Yeah.
story. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
My parents good that way.
Yeah, girl. Love it.
That's exciting. That is.
Yeah.
And so, one of your first things was you worked with the off-Broadway play with Ruby D.
I did.
Right? And so how was working with her, like how did that mold your career?
Oh, fully, actually. We did 2 runs of the show off Broadway, and then we did a run of it at the Alliance in Atlanta. And then we did a couple of other things with it. And I'm very lucky that she always wanted to work with me, so they would replace pretty much everyone else in the cast and keep me.
Wow.
And yeah, I was really lucky. She is one of the most incredible human beings I've ever met in my entire life. Just as a person, she's gracious and kind and thoughtful and gentle and generous. Just, she's amazing and genuinely so. That's just how she is, how she thinks, how she breathes. And then as an actor, that's where I had years and years of training, but that's where it really all came together for me, was watching her.
Right.
Yeah.
She is a master of making whatever space it is her own space. She will walk into whatever space it is and she looks at everything. Doesn't matter how big or how small it is, she looks at everything and she uses it. So, and now when you watch her, you'll see, like, even if she's standing next to a banister, she'll be holding the banister, and touching things is how she becomes part of what's going on. And I stole that from her.
Love
I
it.
stole it from her.
Yes, yes.
But I mean, she also was I was completely confused as to how I had managed to get that job. And I was really overwhelmed. And she just was so gentle and kind and just encouraging and supportive. And I really couldn't have started off with a better person. She's amazing.
That's awesome.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's like a living legend. I mean,
She is,
literally,
absolutely.
very literally.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Hollywood royalty.
Yeah, and Mr. Davis was still alive at that time. And the two of them, I mean, true love, and they'd been together for over 50 years at that time, and true love. He would come to see the shows, and she'd be like, "Oh, he's coming tonight." She'd get all
Flustered. Oh
It's
my
like
God.
always young love.
Sweet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was so. I think that's the reason why I'm still single, because I see, you see things like that, and you're like, I want that.
I want that.
You know?
It needs to look like
Yeah,
that. Yes.
So yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, while you were living in New York, you landed roles on Law and Order, Ugly Betty, but then you've said before that you moved to LA because things got difficult.
Yeah.
What was difficult?
Well, after 9/11, things like the show that I was in with Ruby Dee was supposed to be an HBO film. Funding got pulled. I was in a couple of shows. Funding got pulled. Films. Funding got pulled. Like people were really backing out of New York, and the theatre world was getting difficult for producers because people weren't spending money on theatre, and so they were bringing in names. And so people like me, it was almost impossible at that point to get a theatre job because they were bringing in people who could sell tickets, And so I then got a contract with CBS, and it was a year long. And when you have a contract with a studio, you can't do anything else. You can't do workshops,
Exclusive.
readings, nothing.
Right.
You can't audition, nothing. So I was completely out of the loop by the time my contract ended. My contract was also during the writers' strike, so there was really nothing happening. And I ended up having to get my first restaurant job, which was horrifying. And
Were you
and
serving or hostessing?
I was hostessing.
Okay.
Yeah, no, had I been serving, I would be in jail.
Got it.
And yeah,
Got
I
it.
could spend about 5 minutes kissing your butt, and then I'm good.
Got it.
And because I really do delve into it. I do believe if you're in the service industry, the customer is always right. You do need to be polite, and if you need to apologize for the next 10 minutes, you need to apologize for the next 10 minutes.
Right.
But it's their experience. But it's very draining to do that,
it
and it
is.
can be
Yes, it
really
is.
demoralizing.
Yes,
it's like
it can be,
get
especially
to a
when you've
point-
been to an Ivy League institution. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? 766.
It's
I get that.
it gets to the point. Well, but I think for anybody,
anybody,
it gets
I
to the
mean-
point where it's just you don't feel very good about yourself.
They say the quickest way to a prescription drug addiction is being a server.
I think it might be because I could never be a server. I don't know how they do it because I have great respect for servers.
Yeah.
The things that I have heard people say to servers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Abhorrent sometimes. Like what?
I've been called. I mean, the names I've been called the C word. I've been called the B word. I've been called the oh yeah.
girl.
And I'm really good at being like, oh, I'm so sorry you're upset. Which just makes them more angry, really. But yeah, and so that was not the greatest experience for me, and I really was like, something needs to change. So I started my own theatre company, which was really difficult. And I was like, I don't want to run a non-profit theatre company. I want to, I would love to like being involved in one, but to run one is so much work,
Yeah.
and it's just, fundraising. People who fundraise and do it well, very impressed. Because it's
Hats
not
off
easy.
to them.
Oh my God, it's not easy. And so then I was like, yeah, okay, time to move to Los Angeles. And so I moved. And I wasn't really going to stay. I was just going to see if I liked it. And I got introduced to this acting coach, Sarah Monell, who was like, she's really hardcore. And she was like, well, either you want to be here or you don't, because, please throw a rock, hit an actor. You can't go back to New York and be like, yeah, if you want an audition, call me. They're not going to do that.
Right.
You got to be here. And I was like, okay then.
Was,
Just stay.
was that realization of needing to make that move a scary one?
It was terrifying. It was absolutely terrifying. I was engaged at the time.
Oh, wow.
So I made that decision without him.
You go, girl.
Familiar.
It did not go
Did
well.
not go.
Did not
Well,
go
it
well.
worked out well for you.
It did,
That's
yeah.
all that matters.
It did.
That's all that
And
matters, yeah.
He was collateral damage. Sorry
yeah,
about
I
it.
mean,
Literally, yeah. Sorry.
really lovely, but no, he's a really nice guy. But I had my dog and my car here already, so I was just kind of like,
Dog and car, Trump and
dog, car, passport, good. So yeah, I stayed, and it was kind of rough for a while. Got another restaurant job. I worked at Boa for a really long time.
Santa Monica or
And
Hollywood?
Hollywood,
Okay.
which was there are some people in this town.
There
now.
are.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
Great experience.
Wow!
Builds character,
Do you know
is
it
what it
was? It is actually what prepared me to
Yeah.
work in this town.
Yes. Right.
It really did,
Yeah.
because that's what you come across no matter what you're doing.
All
You
the
come across
time.
those people
Yeah.
and those personalities
Yes.
and that entitlement all the time, and you just have to be able to smile and nod your head and be like, okay, and then flip them off when they turn around, you know? It's like, you know, so yeah, I worked there for about a year, and then I got to a point where I was like, I was sleeping on a mattress in my apartment, I had a coffee table I'd found on the street, and a television. The television was the only thing I bought. I got a really nice television, and that was it. And I was just that job almost broke me. I mean, I just was at a point where I cried at work one night, and I was like, okay, if you can make me cry, I'm out.
It's a wrap.
Yeah, and I quit without knowing what I was going to do. I happened to go to a workshop where I gave apparently a good audition, and my manager found me there, and she changed my life. Completely changed my life. But she picked me up, and I just started working. Between her and my acting coach, Jonathan Slave, and I now have a different acting coach. Between the two of them, I just kept going, and yeah, that was it.
I'm so sorry, Ebony. I love hearing those stories about people who, I mean, you talk to so many actors that were like, I was on the bus, quit my job, didn't know what was going to happen. A week later, you know, and that feeling for you must have been so exhilarating and so.
It was, but it's also it was confirmation that the universe gives you what you want. Because I was like skipping auditions, and like there were a couple of things I booked that I couldn't make because I couldn't get my shift covered.
Right.
So the universe was like, oh, you want to work in a restaurant? There you go.
And you felt like you felt like a slave
Yes.
to that job. Like they owned you.
Absolutely. And I'm one of those people. I show up on time. I do my job. I do everyone else's job. I don't complain. And when you're that person, you get all of it. You know.
Yes.
So it just was too much. But it's true. Like you have to kind of step out of your comfort zone and prove that you want something, and then you're gonna get it. I really think that.
They say life begins at the beginning of at the end of your comfort zone.
Oh, I like that.
San Francisco saw it on a book. And it just, it fell over. And I picked it up and I was like, sign. But you're right. Stepping out of that comfort zone really opens doors.
Yeah, and there are signs. There are signs everywhere. You just have to really figure out, you know.
And be present to them.
Yeah, you know, so, you know,
There
if
you
you're
go.
not watching, then you miss out.
We are. So, Toks, you've been working, I mean, really consistently, almost for like over 10 years now in the industry. And you know, we talked about this earlier about there being not as many roles, particularly for African American women or Black women. But you know, you spoke about your attitude of like not really putting yourself in that box and not really buying into that. Pardon this pun, tokenism. Sorry, I had to go there.
You went there.
Hashtag. But yeah, like how did that work for you? Because we hear that from a lot of other women of color that are in this industry, but you kind of defy that.
You know, I have to say that most of the roles that I've booked were not originally written for Black women.
Right. Yeah, we saw that. Your role in Democracy.
Yeah, no, it was all white girls and me.
Right.
I was the only person of color. And yeah, I mean, it's happened to me a lot. It's happened to me in theater. It's happened to me for commercials. It's happened to me, you know, and you know, and there are other people. It's, you know, Will Smith,
I think
Richard
Whoopi
Pryor,
Goldberg maybe auditions for white all the time.
A lot of the stuff that she did in the 80s, most of the stuff she did in the 80s.
Right.
Eddie Murphy, Halle
Certainly.
Berry.
Halle, yes,
you know, there are a
yes.
lot of people who it's like they just kind of go for it.
Absolutely.
And they get it, you know. And I just, you know, I feel like, I don't know, I just never stopped and never let anything deter me. And I know that what's mine is mine, and what somebody else booked wasn't mine. And it's really that simple, you know. You watch somebody do something after they've booked it, and you're like, yeah, you know what I mean?
That was
that
fair.
was
Yeah.
fair. You know, so it's like there's always a reason. And you know, for Jackie Joyner Kersey, I know that they were looking at a whole array of people, you know, and age, size. They were looking at everybody, you know. So they were just like, what do you got? Send us whoever you have. Is she female? Bring her. And it was like, you know, I was just really lucky, you know. And I think that I think attitude has a lot to do with it. I think that if you're willing to work and you're positive and you just want to be there and you're happy to be there, I think people kind of key into that and they want to, you know, bring that into what they're doing.
I don't mean to laugh, but when he said for Jackie Joyner Kersey, like she's still alive.
I know.
You know, she's an athlete, and you're like, you know, when I was playing Jackie, like it's her biopic, but actually
right.
it's not.
When I first got the breakdown, I was so confused. I was like, am I playing Jackie Joyner Kersey? Is this
But not really.
Not really.
Right.
Yeah.
Not really.
Am I Jackie Joyner
Yeah.
2.0?
Yeah, I was like, I'm not understanding. And my coach had to explain it to me. I was like, but it's Jackie Joyner Kersey. He was like, forget about the name. It's just the name. I was like, oh, okay. I could not let it go. I was like, I was like, do I
That's
have to
funny.
run? Okay.
Well, touching back on your role in democracy at work, that they did call for an elite white girl.
They did.
You wrote a letter persuading these people, look, you need to hire me. I'm the tea, I'm the poo, take a big whiff.
Right.
What? Like, did you just wake up one day and just say, you know what? I'm going to write this letter and they're going to book me.
You know what I did was I woke up one day. I'd been submitting to Actors Access every
Of
day,
course.
every day, every
Right.
day.
LA
Daily,
casting.
all day.
Yeah, and I
Yes,
woke
yes.
up one day and I was like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna submit for everything that is even like I don't care if it's an Asian woman.
Right.
I don't care if it's an Asian man. If I can play it, and I did, and I got called in for a lot of stuff which was not for me.
Totally.
And I just, I was like, this is me. I was like, this girl is me, and you need to call me in for it. It's just I don't know how to explain it to you, but this is me. And apparently they watched my reel, and the director said he watched the reel and he knew it. He was like, it's her. Yeah, but he still put me through the ringer, didn't you, David? That was actually one of the most fun jobs I've ever had in my entire life. I loved that job. It was a lot of fun.
That's awesome. I love hearing you say that because a lot of people that watch our show, they're up and coming, they're aspiring actors and actresses, and it's so nice to hear you talk. It's kind of like removing a glass ceiling. I think a lot of people in America particularly feel like there's like limits or boxes or constraints on how far they can go and particular lanes they need to exist in.
And it's so easy to get caught up in that, too.
It is.
Yes.
It's very easy to get caught up in it because my thing is I also don't want to overstep. And I don't want to offend. And I don't want to, but at the same time, I don't really believe that, of course, those things do exist, but they mostly, perception is reality, right?
Exactly.
So it exists inside your
Maybe
mind.
not for you. Maybe not for you. And I think but I'm being really serious. And it's also the way that you do it. It's not like in your face. It's just like I read the breakdown and I think screw you.
Very
Yeah.
tactful.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it helps that you're
Yes.
beautiful. I mean,
Yes.
we did. I read an article last week that people that are less fortunate looking have it harder in life. So, it wasn't Mary Claire. It's in one of your magazines.
Less fortunate
It was
looking.
not in GQ. It was in Mary Claire.
I mean, no, that's obviously very true, but it also doesn't hurt that you're very talented as
I know.
well.
I was getting to that. If you let me finish. Rude.
Yeah, I mean, I think, thank you.
Yes.
That being said, I do, I'm not exactly like, a Halle Berry or a, Zoe Saldana. Like,
I'm sure you are, actually.
Yeah,
I
girl,
would
come
beg
on.
to
I'm a
differ on
cute
that.
girl. Like, I definitely,
Cute.
I like the way I look.
Come
I
on,
got no
Catherine.
complaints.
Come on, Catherine. Give it to me.
I got
Yeah.
no complaints. But I mean, like, I have to say, recently a friend of mine pointed out that I was one of the only black female leads on a television show who had not had a nose job.
True.
And I
True.
said, what? And she said, yeah. And I said, they've all had nose jobs.
Kerry Washington nose job?
Shh, shh, shh. We're not name dropping. We're not doing that. No, we're not. Okay, go ahead.
My bad.
And I was like, no. So she Googled it. And I
Yes.
was like, oh my God. And I felt a bit, I love all of those ladies, all of them. And in one way or another, they have made it possible for me to have the job I have.
Great acknowledgement.
And I appreciate that. That being said, I have had low points where I thought I'm never going to work because of the way I look. Because I don't look like Naomi Campbell, black, and I don't look like, Halle Berry, like clearly biracial. Like I'm in the middle. I'm a black girl, and I love the way I look. And
And so do
was
we.
Thank
Yes,
you.
totally.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I was gonna get work done.
Oh, no.
And the only thing that stopped me was that I could not imagine. I really thought it was going to be a mind beep
Right.
if I looked in the mirror and did not see my face. I could not understand that. And that's why I didn't. And I'm so grateful at this point that I didn't too, because any little black girls who are,
Right.
can be like, oh yeah,
Right.
you can actually look like a black woman and like,
Right.
have a job on
beautiful and
television.
not
But your look
not change anything.
is so distinct and very captivating. And I'm just saying this as someone who watches you on television, that there's not, television is either littered with average looking people, and I don't say that, being douchebaggy.
Mean, yeah.
I'm just saying, but if you watch a lot of commercials, it's average, relatable people, because the people
Right.
that buy the products look like that.
Right.
Or if you watch other stuff, it's really beautiful people, but like there's no one on TV that looks like you.
Right.
Even just
Okay.
a lot of breakdowns are asking for average, girl next door.
Yeah.
You know.
And you can play all those things. Ethnically ambiguous, girl
Yeah.
next door. Bam, there you go.
And glamazon, totally
Supermodel.
aspirational beauty. But no, Toks, that's such a critical point though, because in this industry, particularly what you do as an actress, you are the definition of a representative for
Absolutely.
so many young girls of color, but also not.
Yes.
And them seeing just this image, it's not been worked on, and she's embracing who she is and
Yeah.
what she looks like naturally. And for me, that it's just very powerful.
Yeah, I
That
actually
is.
had a little girl on. I love my little girls on Twitter. This little, I don't know, maybe she's 14, 15-year-old
Yeah.
little white girl on Twitter who sent me a picture of the wallpaper on her phone, and it's me.
It's you.
Oh.
Aw.
and
Did
I
you have a
was
moment?
like, I
Jessica,
did.
show her your wallpaper now.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's what I love about the show as well, is it's kind of like we've got a lot of different looking people, but we don't dwell on it because that's the way it should be.
And that's
You know
what's
what I
making
mean?
for a great television, though. That's a lot of
Yeah.
reasons why shows like your show and like Scandal and Grace, because
Modern Family,
right, because
yeah.
Right.
their people are taking notice that you have to appeal to everyone. And the story and the show is so much more interesting when you have all different types of
You're
people, all walks of
relatable.
life. Yeah,
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
life isn't black and white; it's all kinds of different colors.
That's right.
Yes, it is.
It's messy.
It's messy.
Well, speaking of your show, you're currently starring on ABC's sitcom The Neighbors, which has a very fun storyline to it.
Yes.
A family moves to suburbia. They find out that their neighborhood is inhabited by aliens.
Yes.
Aliens, by the way, who like to name themselves after
Sports
famous
figures,
sports
yeah.
athletes. Tell us what ran through your head when you read the script for Jackie Joyner Kersey. You told us a little bit about that you were a little confused at first, but
Yeah, I was very confused actually. I mean, initially I was just like, I have an audition, yay! I didn't really care what it was for. I was just like, an audition, woohoo! But then when I really started breaking it apart so that I could work on it, I didn't really get it because it seemed really clever. And it seemed like there were many layers to it, but no one's that clever in Hollywood. So I was like, no. I took it to my coach, and he was like, yes. And I was like, really? And so we just had a lot of fun with it because honestly, I didn't think I was going to book it. I knew I was going into Susan Bash's office. She cast for Happy Endings, which was one of my favorite shows on television. I wanted a guest star on it. I thought, if I can just get a guest star on Happy Endings from this, I'll be so happy. So we made it as crazy as we could. Like, it was nothing like what you see now. She was cuckoo. I mean, she was frantic, and I gave her this little Bernadette Peters voice, and like it was just like, I went in and I did it, and Susan Bash was like, wow. Okay. She was like, we just want your voice. And I was like, ooh, what do you mean my voice? Because my voice changes because of
Right.
all the different places I've lived. Sometimes I speak with this accent. Sometimes I speak with an American accent. Sometimes I speak with a Nigerian accent. Depends on who I'm talking to, where I am. It's very strange, but it's what I do. And it's what I've always done. And she was like, no, we want the British. And I said, okay. So I did the British. And then she said, okay, you're coming in for producers tomorrow. And I thought, what? Oh, okay. And I did, and we refined it, and the producers were amazing, and they helped me with it, and they worked on it with me. And I also was the only person who didn't go in looking like a mum. Everyone else was kind of in like, a flannel and a tank top and jeans and ballet flats, and I was wearing a little structured dress, very like 1960s. And I had like, I think pearls, and my hair was pulled back really tight into a bun.
You gave them Black Audrey Hepburn, and I love
did.
it. Yes, you did.
She's my style icon.
I
Well done.
love it, yes.
And I did, and I was thinking, in my mind, Jackie Joyner Kersey had been watching like the Donna Reed show. That was what she knew, and she was thinking, oh, I've got to be perfect, and so she got it all wrong, And then I was wearing these 7-inch platform stilettos. So I was
Nice.
like literally 6'4", and they were just like,
Glamazon.
what is wrong with this
Glamazon.
girl? We love her. Yeah. The first thing that Chris Koch said, one of our producers and our resident director said after my audition, he goes, you were so weird. I was like, pretty much, yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, it's a lot of fun with these guys. I have a lot of fun with them.
I just Jackie Joyner Kersey. Thank God they didn't have you play Marion Jones. The drama behind that. Like, you're coming in to play Marion Jones.
The
Do I need
shade
to?
that
The
you
shade.
just threw.
Yes,
Can we have a
yes.
moment from my fellow Tar Heel, Marion Jones?
Oh, my bad.
Ooh,
Oh.
shady boots. She says shady boots. Okay.
But the nice thing, on a lighter note,
Moving
right?
swiftly along.
Jackie, your character Jackie is married to Larry Bird,
Larry
of all
Bird.
people, right? Who was
Yes.
played by, it was a Simon Templeman.
Simon
And
Templeman.
just you guys, your chemistry on screen, it's amazing. So
Yeah.
now, was that natural or something you guys had to work on?
No, it's natural. It's really hard not to have chemistry with Simon because he's nothing like that character. He's actually very soft-spoken. He's very kind and loving and concerned about everyone, making sure that everyone's okay. He's very intuitive, and he always knows kind of what's going on. I've seen him in a bad mood maybe twice, and it was well warranted. And he's a very generous actor. He knows exactly what he wants to do with it, but he's open to suggestion. He's very quick with his changes when he gets direction, but he is so keyed into what everyone else is doing. He's a dream to work with. I could not have been luckier. I mean, because when someone's your screen husband, you're with them a lot.
Yeah.
And he is just one of the most lovely people and one of the best actors I've ever worked with. I mean, if we get a couple more seasons, I'm just saying, Emmys, Simon Templeman. He's brilliant. He's brilliant. He really is. He's a lovely guy.
Describe a typical day on set of The Neighbors, playing an alien.
On set. Well, when I'm first on set, I'm not awake yet because it's really early. I wake up quite early. I walk my dog. I go for a run. Then I get to set sometime between 4 and 5 in the morning.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I go to bed at like 6 o'clock.
Right.
We do hair and makeup. And then we go in, we do our little rehearsal, we shoot the scene. And oh God, I'm sorry.
Can I ask you a question about hair, Toks?
Yes, madam.
Hair is a very big issue
Yes.
with women of color. Is there like nerves? Like, is there a conversation about that? Like, I'm so
No,
serious.
there was a conversation
Yeah.
because I've got really strange hair.
We all
because
do, yeah.
I have like a lot of hair and it's curly,
Right.
but it's fine like my mum's.
Got it.
So if you look at it crooked 2 days in a row, it falls out. So like after the pilot, they had like curled it and curled it and curled it and curled it because they didn't want my little ringlets. They wanted like big, and then they pulled it back. And I had to cut 5 inches off my hair
'Cause of
after
the
we filmed
damage.
the pilot.
know.
So I was like, you guys got to get me something fake to like just pop on the back there. And that's what they do.
Perfect.
Because otherwise it's just like like a trail
It's
of
like
broken
it's
hair. behind
stress.
me.
It's like it's stress on your hair.
It is.
Totally.
It's a lot. Yeah. I knew nothing about hair when I moved to LA because I was always like wash and go, wash and go. I never even blow dried my hair. It's just wash and go. And then I moved to LA and my friend Val, she's gorgeous. My friend Valerie Aslan. She's on her own television show. She's amazing. And she was like, "You're gonna need some fake hair." And I was like, "I don't do fake hair." And she was like, "It's Hollywood. You're gonna need some fake hair." And I was like, "Nope. I have so much fake hair now. I've got ponytails. I've got buns.
Do you have wigs? Any wigs?
I do have wigs, but they're really
They're
clearly
not
wigs.
lace front.
They're not like $800 wigs.
No,
wigs.
Okay.
I like to do little fun photo shoots with people, so they're like that sort of like.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
I've got
kinda
some
smart.
interesting photo shoots that I've done. But yeah, no,
Notice
I did
that,
have to
yeah.
have a conversation, and then we got a new hair person in now for this season, and I actually had lunch with him the other day so that we
So
could like
let's get
discuss
this.
hair.
Yeah, that's real
But
talk.
the guy's been there, done that. So
got it.
I was like, okay, you just.
Excellent. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. So we sit in hair and makeup for about 7 hours in order to look like this. I look like a really unattractive, like Indonesian boy when I wake up.
I can't. Toks.
And I mean, we just have a lot of fun. I mean, and I'm not just saying this. Literally, everyone, cast, crew, craft services, the parents of the kids who work on the show. Everyone is so much fun, and everyone is having such a good time, and we have a lot of people who are really conscious of how lucky they are to have jobs.
Yeah.
And so we just have a good time. And Jamie Gertz really sets the tone. And she makes sure that everybody who's on set is comfortable. She makes sure that everybody who comes on as a guest is greeted and has what they need. Even when it comes to like background, who usually everybody ignores. I did background work for years, so I can attest to that. She makes sure that they, like, have they eaten? Why are they sitting out in the cold? Like, why do they not have heaters? Like, this is not, like, she's amazing, and she sets the tone, and she makes sure that we are all here. No one's here. We're all here. And it makes for a really good work environment. We have a lot of fun.
Well, to that point of people being appreciative of being employed, there were over 100 shows canceled last year, including your favorite happy endings.
I know. I'm still confused.
We
about
tried to
this.
save happy endings. I hashtag
A
save
lot,
happy
yeah,
endings.
yeah.
I
I'm
was
so
scared-
confused
yeah.
about it. I really am confused.
It was a
Still
great show.
confusing.
I'm grateful, though, that my show is still on the air.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Is that like does that kind of induce anxiety on the set for you guys when you start seeing quality, good programs
Do you
going by
know,
the wayside?
I ignore a lot of that. I don't read any of that stuff. I hear tidbits from like other people,
Right.
but I don't read any of it. And I don't get into any conversations about it.
Got it.
Because it's not my concern. That's my
Right.
background in theater is you don't read reviews, you don't read, because it can, even if it's a good review, it can affect you either way.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I just leave that and I do my job.
And you do the work.
Yeah.
Yep.
I, of course, before it got announced this year, was very anxious.
Got it.
But I also know that, whatever happens, happens, and I have always ended up in a good place no matter what. So just kind of like I had my fingers crossed because I really, really love my job and I really wanted to go back to it. But,
Yeah. Well, we're happy that you still have it and that you guys are coming back. That's fine.
In an interview, you had once said that you believe that The Neighbors has a message to it, that the only way to come to full acceptance and understanding of yourself is to embrace your own culture. Is that something that you ever struggled with in this industry, embracing your true self or your heritage or anything like that?
no, it was the opposite, actually. I had a lot of trouble letting it go.
I love her.
It was the opposite. When I actually first moved to New York, because of my background in theater, I would show up to auditions in, just black clothing, character shoes, no makeup, hair pulled back. And my agents were like, you can't do that. And I was like, why? I'm a blank slate. They should know what they want to do with me. And if they don't want me, they don't have to hire. I was that girl. And they were like, no, you need to look like what you need to look like. And you need to go. And I was like, it was a fight. And they were like, well, do you want to work or not? And I was like, right, good point. So, there was that. And then many, many, many times up until as recently as a month ago, people have been trying to get me to drop my last name. And it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. My dad is a high chief, and my name is pretty much exclusive to my family. Like, if you have my last name, you're a distant cousin if I don't know you,
Wow.
And I'm proud of my heritage. I'm proud of where I come from. It is
Good for you.
my home. And and I like the fact that when Nigerians see my name, they're like, yeah, one of us,
Absolutely.
What is
the
But there's
reasoning?
a
Right. Hold on.
Right.
Jessica, go ahead.
What is the reasoning behind them wanting you to drop your
Yeah.
last name?
Because it's long and they don't think that people are going to be able to say it. I had a meeting where someone said that to me. My manager was there. I love my manager. And she said, well, I say it about 30 times a day. I've never had a problem with it. I was
Bam.
like,
I love that accent.
There you go.
Well, and then there's like that guy with the funny name that, runs our country. So, you know
well,
what I
there's
mean?
that. And that's what
Yeah.
I said. I said, if I have to be that girl with the funny name from that TV show, that's fine.
Yeah.
You know what I
Right.
mean? It's
They won't
okay.
forget
Hasn't
it.
stopped
Yeah.
him.
They won't
exactly.
forget it.
It's all
Yeah.
right.
And people, I enjoy saying your last name. When I'm bored at home now, that's what I'm going to do. It's a great
I'm impressed.
verbal workout.
It is. Yes, it is.
You have played some really cool roles, and out of all the roles that you played, what are some of the ones you've really connected to? And I'm not going to ask you the question about what's your dream role, but what are some roles that really, you, as an actress, or no, okay, as an actor, you have an appetite for certain things. You have an
Yeah.
appetite for a role you want to play. What is that appetite for you?
I just like a challenge. I like something that's going to be fun and keep me engaged and keep me on my toes. That's really all it is.
Yeah.
And it can be drama, it can be comedy, it could be anything. But I like a good script. I like to work with great actors. I like a clever director. And then I like to get in there and just work together. That's what I like. I like the work. And I like it to be interesting. And for me, it's not really interesting if it's too comfortable. I like it. I like to be
That
kept on my
comfort zone,
toes.
out of it.
Yeah,
Push you out.
And as long as that's happening and I get to do what I want to do, that's really all it is. you know?
I read an interview that you recently did, and I was reading it over and over again. You said so many amazing points, and one of the things you said that it's work, but I'm glad to be doing this work. And you had said that you didn't care what it was as long as you were acting and you were,
Yeah.
and that's really cool that you're able to come to that point, because a lot of people nitpick and choose. Well, I don't want to
Yeah.
do this type of role. I don't want to do
Yeah.
that. And do you feel that you're missing out on some amazing experiences by not having that mentality?
No, I mean, when I moved to LA, I was fully aware that I was going to have to start from the beginning, especially since in New York, I actually got into, someone literally saw me at a nail salon, invited me to an audition, and I booked it. It got me into SAG and got me an agent.
There you go.
Wow.
Right? So I moved to LA and I was like, I know how this is gonna go and it's not gonna be easy. And I did everything. I did student films. I did stuff with friends. I wasn't paid for most of what I was doing, but I just wanted to keep busy and I wanted to use my instrument and I wanted to be in front of the camera and learn more terminology that I didn't know and just learn. I like to learn, you know,
student
and
of your
yeah,
craft.
you know, and I mean, in
Yes.
this business, you really never stop learning.
Yes.
For me,
Yeah.
anyway, so far, you know, and I like that, you know. I mean, that's for me, that's life, you know. For me, that is traveling. For me, that is vacation. For me, that is everything. Is being in something new and meeting new people and having a new project and being in a new character and finding a new voice and and it always parallels my life in some way,
Oh, that's
which is
interesting.
very interesting. It's like Jackie is very sweet and very soft, you know, and really goofy, and that is really me at my core. But for a very long time, because of the world in general, I won't even say this business, because of the world in general, when you are that sensitive, you get hurt a lot. And I got to the point where I really put up a wall. And, then I got to a point where, the sentence, when I first met you, I thought you were a real bitch, was getting really old. And I was like, I'm not a bitch.
Right.
That's funny.
I'm nice, I
And
promise.
yeah, it's like, I'm just scared you're going to bully me,
Yeah.
So this has kind of enabled me to get back to that part of myself and be a little softer,
More
and-
vulnerable.
yeah, because I get very scared when I meet new people. I get really like, and then I kind of have to talk myself down. And Jackie has really helped me with that because she's so, she's adventurous when it comes to people. She likes to meet new people and learn new things about people and the culture, and she always wants to get into it. For her, that's like what it's all about. And I really love that about her, and it's really helped me to kind of, bring that part of myself back out. Which is
That's
nice.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's fun. That's fun. Now, you said that you like to use your instruments. So you've done TV, the movies, and theater, of course. So which do you prefer, and do you see yourself ever going back into theater?
I would love to go back into theatre, but I do have to say that at this point I'm very spoilt. I never thought I would say this. But I do prefer the film and television world now. I like the fact that it's something different every day.
Yeah.
For theatre, I do like the fact that you have tons and tons and tons of time to prepare and know what you're doing. But I do have to say that now I'm so used to having something new every day that I think doing the same thing over and over every night might bore me a little bit. That being said, I mean, there are people I want to work with. I would love to do a Neil LaBute play. He's like my favorite living playwright. I think he's genius. I would love to work with David Mamet. Who wouldn't? I would love to play Roxy in Chicago.
Nice. Yeah.
I would love to
totally
play
see that.
Roxy in
Yes.
Chicago.
Yes.
Ooh, so you sing too? Can we hear a little something?
No.
I can get like a little.
No. Oh no, I don't sing like that.
Oh damn.
No.
Stereotypical you.
yeah,
Get out of here.
No.
We have actually a musical episode in which I sing, and I was in choir in school, so I have that voice, and then I have the voice when I'm singing. I kind of sound like, I don't know. It's very like Fiona Apple-y, like that kind
Criminal?
of. Yeah,
Like
yeah.
real gritty 90s.
It's gritty.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Get in there. Yeah.
Probably
yeah.
a little nicer than that.
well,
but-
that was my gritty.
you, Deb.
Not
Yeah.
much. Not much. No.
I was almost spot on.
Yeah, it's very PJ Harvey. Yeah, so I would love to do that, but I do have to say I like film and television now. I'm used to it, and But
You're
I'll take
good at
any
it,
job.
so
Thank
it's
you.
great. Yeah. So in addition to acting, you write and produce as well.
I do.
Do you have a preference? Is that a little more creative control for you, or would you like to do more of that behind the scenes stuff?
I like doing both
Oh, got it. Okay.
equally for different reasons. The writing really, I wrote a lot. I've written my whole life. I was published in a Nigerian newspaper when I was 7.
Wow.
Can we get a round of applause
mean-
for that?
It's a Nigerian
What a
newspaper.
protege.
Yeah. Well, you know.
But yeah, I wrote a lot of poetry when I was a kid, like from when I was really little. And then when I went to high school, I had this great English teacher, Mr. McInerney, who really encouraged me to write. And then when I got to school, to Smith, I did a lot of writing courses, and I started writing for stage, and I realized I really liked it. What I didn't like was other writers. So I found them a bit, just there was a lot of pretension. And I found that they just always thought that, like, I was just like, nothing is that deep. Nothing. Like, I know, you know, always reading into things. And then I kind of broke away from the way you're supposed to do things and the way you're supposed to write things. And I just kind of, it was for me. So I spent a lot of time just writing for me. And then when I did Democracy at Work, the two guys that I was working with, Michael Scavati and Matt Jones, are just brilliant guys. And our chemistry is ridiculous. And I was like, we can't not work together. Like we just, so we sat down and came up with an idea. And I said, do you want me to write it? And they were like, yeah, okay. So I wrote the pilot, and they were like, oh, I was like, yeah, no, I could really write. It was going to be my major, but I just didn't, you know. And so that started the Callback series, which we have. Yeah, we're in the middle of filming that, and that should be out in the fall. And then I came up with another series, Yard Sale, which is so gross, but it's so good. And then I came up with the Alpha series, which is, you saw one of the, last night.
Yeah.
And
It's funny.
and my stuff is gross. I mean, it's not.
When you say gross, like
it's like, you know, it's. I was
Okay.
there's a show from when I was a kid called The Young Ones that no one will know, but it's an English show with Rick Mayall, and It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia before its
Okay.
time. Like
Okay.
we're talking late 70s, early 80s.
Got it.
And it's that kind of gross.
Got it.
There's a lot of inappropriate humor. I
Yes.
make fun of everyone.
Love it.
I am racial. I am sexist. I mean, it is not good, but it's great.
And it makes it great.
It's
What
funny.
comedy is based off of.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
I make fun of. I mean, I really go there. I really, really go there. I have an episode of Callbacks called CPT. Okay, I go there. It's like, you know, but I don't care, because I feel like people need to know that it's not coming from a bad place. I'm just trying to make people laugh. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
When you play off of stereotypes exist for a reason. People
Right.
need to stop being so sensitive. It's okay. Nobody's judging. We just, you know. So I just, I have a lot of fun, and I always write for my friends, which has made it a lot easier. I write for people who I've worked with or who I've seen work and I want to work with,
Right.
and I write specifically for them. And yeah, I just have a lot of fun with it. It's my way of having fun.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I was kind of stalking you earlier, and
Okay.
last time I read you were single.
Yeah.
You do have a furry companion,
I
but
do.
you are not with man.
I'm not with man.
Just his best friend.
Yeah. Yes.
What
Stole his friend.
You know, so what are your thoughts on dating in Los Angeles? It's just as daunting as the entertainment industry, isn't it?
There's no dating in Los Angeles for me. No.
Do you struggle
Why?
to
No, why?
Because they're crazy. Everyone's crazy.
crazy? I agree.
Everyone is crazy. I can't date actors. I tried that. I can't do it.
Right.
Too sensitive, and they need far too much attention, and
Yeah.
I'm not good at either one of those things. So, no. And you know, and the producers are too busy, and
The people with money don't have time.
Right.
yeah, the people, you know, the
Right.
normal guys. Seriously, the normal, hardworking guys don't have time, right?
Right.
So they're like, you know, and then I don't do well with like.
No,
I have a
yeah.
type.
Oh,
Tattoos, right? You like the bad boy.
But I like a guy who looks like a bad boy, but who's
But's
really
not.
nice.
Oh,
I
yeah.
like nice guys.
But you don't date actors, though. I mean,
actors?
actors.
they
Are
look,
not
they
nice.
look like
Bad.
something, but they're not.
No.
That's what an actor is.
No,
They-
well, yeah, but they're all crazy.
They
They
don't
all
like
hate
bad
themselves. They
boys.
hate themselves.
they do.
They do. It's like, well, I think I'm a good-looking guy, but I don't understand why nobody will hire me. I think I'm talented, but and you're just like, can we talk about anything else?
So describe the type then.
yeah. What is the
What
type?
is the type? Am I the type? No. Okay.
No.
What's the type?
Don't judge me.
I'm not judging
No,
you.
this
No
is a
judgment.
judgment-free zone here at BHL
Okay.
next. Okay.
I like blue-collar Irish guys.
Ah.
He gasped!
Specific.
He gasped!
No. So
He
you
gasped.
you like Kevin McKidd then? Maybe from Owen from Grey's Anatomy. He's Irish and.
I haven't watched Grey's Anatomy for
Did
a
you
couple
watch
years.
The Wire?
Yeah.
Did you like McNulty?
No.
Oh, okay, no.
And I'll tell you why, because I
Okay.
didn't like his accent. I didn't think it was very good, so it distracted me.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
is it the swagger? What is
It's the
it?
sense of humor.
Sense of
Is what it
humor.
is. If you've got a really good sense of humor and you're witty and you're clever and you don't take yourself too seriously, I'm yours to lose. Like really. Like it
Nice.
doesn't really even matter what you look like. Like I was with a guy for 7 years, Bill Dempsey. That's very Irish. He was Irish, and I mean he was a really good-looking guy, really sweet guy, but he was chubby.
So is
Really
there
chubby.
like an Irish dating site out there somewhere?
Is there? Find
How
out.
do
Let
you
me know.
target your type?
Well, you know, on Match, you can like very much so personalize that thing.
You
Did you
can.
do
I
online?
met my ex-fiance on Match.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
so that did work
Yeah.
out. Yeah.
And dude, you'd be perfect for their commercials. What is up with that?
Right.
My best friend actually did one of their commercials.
I mean,
Yeah.
you're like a living testament that dreams do come true.
dreams do come true. I met him and then I broke his
But it's an
heart.
ex then.
Oh, it happens.
Or you should
Ex-fiance.
just date a comedian.
No.
Throwing that out there.
No, comedians are even
Comedians
worse.
are great human beings.
Yeah, but they really don't like themselves.
But thank you for renewing my confidence in online dating, though.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I mean, seriously, there's actually some really good guys out there. Yeah, there really are, but I haven't found them.
Well, it happens. He'll be there in the right time.
He will,
Toks.
yeah.
So we've talked about so many different things. We know that you've got your projects that you're working on that are coming up. Anything else you want to fill us in that's coming up?
No, we're just excited to work on The Neighbours. My show Callbacks is starting a Kickstarter campaign in a couple weeks.
Excellent.
So that we
Nice.
can, because otherwise we have to film like a day here, a day there. We just want to like raise some funds, hire some people, film it, and be done.
Yes.
Yeah, but no, besides that, I'm just
doing
excited
the
to-
work.
Yeah,
Doing the work. I
Yeah.
love that. Where can people find you? Are you on Twitter?
I am
What's
at
your
Toks
Twitter?
Olagundoye. Yeah.
Okay. There you go. You're
Yeah.
gonna make us get that.
Yeah.
I love that.
And
Yeah.
on Instagram at TolyK.
Totally K.
TOLYKAY.
I'm gonna follow you right now.
We love. I'm following you right now. Thank you so
Yay.
much for
Thank
joining
you
us. We
guys.
loved
You guys
it.
are so much fun.
You're fun.
are.
Thank you.
Hi.
That's it for Black Hollywood Next, guys. Thank you.
See you later.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, Dario Kristen, and the entire BHL staff, we would like to thank you for tuning in to the Black Hollywood Live Network. If you have questions or comments, tweet us at BHL Online or email us at info@blackhollywoodlive.com. For more exclusive content, visit blackhollywoodlive.com. This has been a presentation of the Black Hollywood Live Network. The views expressed here are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of BHL or its owners or principals.